Hello and welcome to the Alaska Ocean Acidification Network's Ask a Scientist series. In this series, we answer questions from real people like you with the help of ocean acidification experts from the network. Our guest today is Angie Doroff, a marine biologist who's conducted research on ocean acidification and HABS through the National Estuariane Research Reserve System and in collaboration with NOAA and the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Today, we're going to tackle the question, does ocean acidification impact or increase harmful algal blooms? And I'll turn it over to you, Angie.
Hi, Darcy, and thanks for having me. I think the answer is yes, it likely does. And changes in ocean temperature, nutrient supply, physical ocean processes such as upwelling, wind mixing, freshwater inputs, all can be factors that contribute to the harmful algal bloom event development. So far, we really don't have the ability to draw these nice, clear, concrete relationships between ocean acidity and harmful algal bloom events. And there is current research underway that's going to be really helpful to separate those processes out.
Could you give us a refresher on what harmful algal blooms are?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Harmful algal blooms occur when colonies of algae, and these are just tiny marine and freshwater plants, grow really rapidly and either produce a toxic or otherwise harmful effects on humans, marine mammals, birds, fish, things in the system. And an example that you might be more familiar with is paralytic shellfish poisoning, PSP, which is a toxin that is produced by a small plankton and accumulated in shellfish that we and other animals in the system eat, that is very lethal. It's just as its name says, it paralyzes the respiratory system, and it's very lethal to humans.
Could you tell us a little bit more about some of the ongoing research right now between OA and harmful algal blooms?
Ongoing work at the University of Hull, for example, in the United Kingdom, is taking a look at how these factors, all of these factors, intersect and influence the kinetics or the structural changes to toxins under different pH conditions or levels. This is really important work because what it's doing is giving us the foundational layer then to work on predictive models between ocean acidification and toxic harmful algal blooms. So that work is beginning, and it's an important area of investigation.
So we've talked a little bit about how ocean acidification might affect harmful algal blooms. How do algal blooms affect ocean acidification?
I'm so glad you asked that, because that's more of our comfort zone. We know more about this. Ocean chemistry and marine plankton are linked on a daily cycle, night and day, and they cause fluctuations in pH. And this has been going on since there's been phytoplankton in the oceans. In Alaska, this pattern really gears up in the spring as the light returns and there's abundant nutrients in the system. Then we get this flourishing of phytoplankton, which is great. We call this the spring bloom. All the ocean life is excited when the spring bloom happens, including the biologists. So during the daytime, phytoplankton are busy taking up carbon dioxide from the water. Think of your high school biology class where plants are breathing carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. Same thing in the ocean. This makes the carbon dioxide in the water go down. It increases oxygen level in the ocean, and it decreases the pH. Cool, that all works. However, during the night, photosynthesis stops, the plankton start to respire, meaning they're breathing carbon dioxide out. So the carbon dioxide levels go back up. The pH goes down and the oxygen goes down during that dark period. So this is something that we're comfortable with. We know this. We've been working with this idea for quite a long time. And on top of that, we started to learn a lot about when there's a large phytoplankton bloom, toxic or otherwise, there's just a lot of phytoplankton biomass in the system. Both the pH, when the bloom starts to die, both the pH and the oxygen go down. And they stay down until that water mixes and the system rights itself with that. The problem becomes when the system is very stratified and those low pH and low oxygen layers get stuck in a layer. And it gets stuck there until the wind mixes it, or there's an upwelling event, or there's something that changes the water column dynamics. So those are things that have been well researched and are much better understood than us looking at it from the other direction of saying there's a base level of pH that's dropping. What does that do to all these other things? So this is an active area of research because it's a new way of looking at it for us.
So are there any locations in Alaska where harmful algal blooms and ocean acidification are being monitored in tandem?
This is happening in Katchmack Bay through collaborations with the National Estuariane Research Reserve, University of Alaska Fairbanks, and NOAA colleagues. And in Southeast Alaska, there's a very exciting program that started getting its ocean acidification monitoring up and running and getting labs to look at phytoplankton and shellfish toxicity through the Southeast Tribes Ocean Research Program called CTOR in Southeast Alaska, and they are becoming a model system as well.
Angie, thank you so much for being with us today. And we want to thank all the viewers on Ask a Scientist. We hope you'll check out the Alaska Ocean Acidification Network website and send in your questions for a future episode. We'll see you next time.